My family started in the restaurant business in the 1940s, and then in 1956 they moved to the location where we are sitting today at 417 Royal Street. The rest is history. We did a major renovation, and the restaurant business I knew as a child. One of the desserts that we're most famous for is Bananas Foster, which was actually created by my family for Mr. Richard Foster to honor him. He was a prominent businessman here, and he was getting an award, done some work on corruption in the city. New Orleans was one of the largest ports to import bananas into the United States. First, my great-grandfather started with a cart in the French Quarter, and it led to importing bananas and growing bananas in Central America. My grandmother, Grandmother Brennan, actually used to brulee bananas at home for breakfast. So there are a number of different connections to bananas. The special thing about Bananas Foster is that it's cooked tableside. And so we start with a warm pan, some butter, brown sugar, and some cinnamon. And we cook it down and caramelize the sugar. And then we add some banana liqueur and then flame it with some rum. We serve it with vanilla ice cream, and so you get that creamy flavor as the ice cream melts with the sauce. So it's a very rich, sinful dessert. But I think it's the whole show that you get. People love to see it, and you know, we get a lot of people who come in here to get only that dish. My oldest daughter and my son who work with me, and hopefully one day I'll get a chance to, you know, turn it over to them.
I started working at Redfish when I was 9, working in the kitchens with the pastry chef. I've been doing this as long as I can remember.
It makes me very proud, especially to see them in the dining room, walking around, talking to customers. Customers get to know them, and they're working their way up, because I think that's the best way to learn.
And I think making sure that this city still has iconic food memories for people is important. It's known as a food city, and if we can continue to make it known as a food city, it'll always be a destination for people.
Well, this is the 300th anniversary in New Orleans, and it is a long history. In my life, the defining moment for New Orleans was really Katrina. We talk a lot about that because we never dreamed that we would flood. And when I heard the levees were breaking, I went, oh my God, our lives are going to change. They taught us a resilience and a pride in our city that in a way we're celebrating right now with the tricentennial, but I think it's going to carry on much longer. Because we had a choice back then in 2005 and 2006, you know, do you come back or not? Do you get your businesses back up and operational? When you operate a family restaurant like this, it's very personal. And that's different than going to a corporate-owned restaurant. New Orleans is very much of a small town in many, many ways, and it's a very close community. And so I think what flourishes here is a family business.
We hope that they experience Southern hospitality and that there's a warm greeting and a warm feeling the entire time they're here, that they're wowed by the environment and by the food and by the dessert.
I mean, we're really in the entertainment business because it's more than just eating food and sitting at a table and taking an order and putting the plate down in front of you. You know, we have to create some magic.
A lot of people grew up coming here to New Orleans with their parents and grandparents, and now they're bringing their kids here, and they have memories of Brennan's. They ask you to come to the table, and they tell you a story about when their grandparents brought them here and they were little kids, and that means a lot.